4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey Gavin and Ryder, it was great meeting with you again today. I really enjoy our video sessions and I look forward to the next one. So the things that we learned today are, I showed you the practical application or a practical application of that windshield wiper exercise that we did last week. We did duck walks and I showed you the practical application for that. And we did some gorilla walking, and then we did some Granby rolls, and I will show you a practical application for that, and we'll go through that step by step. So the first thing is, when we were doing these windshield wiper exercises with our knees, going from side to side, after our session last weekend, I realized that when we're in this position and I'm crunched over my hip here, because I have to be to keep my balance, I'm making a C with my body, with my head and shoulder. Here, you can see the C, the curve here in my ribs between my hip and my shoulder and my head. I'm making a C here to stay upright. And I'm doing the same thing when I come over here to this side. Well, if I change my orientation angle, my shoulders, if I change them from being lined up with my knees to being lined up with this shin, and do everything the same, and pretend like I'm holding on to a long pole, I've got the C here in this side of my ribs, and I come over here and I've got the C here in this side of my ribs. This motion is the same motion that you would use to perform what's called a C to C roll in whitewater kayaking. It's exactly the same. I would be in my boat like this, I would go upside down, and I would use this motion with the paddle in my hands, making the C here, and come over to this side to right my boat if I was upside down. So a little bit of a practical application for what we did last week.
You'll teach them that in a few years, right?
Yeah.
Whitewater kayaking.
After we get you on the water. The next thing that we learned is a duck walk. And so we started in a good athletic stance, one foot in front of the other with my back foot turned a little bit, so that I can bend my legs with my hands up, and I'm going to move forward. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to change levels. From standing, we're going to crouch, and then I'm going to move forward onto this knee. And as soon as this knee touches the mat, this foot is going to come up and stand up. And I'm going to do the same thing again on the other side, and that's a duck walk. I'm going to try it one more time. Change levels, knee step, knee step, knee step. And let me show you the practical application with Auntie Christy. When we're doing jiu-jitsu with our training partners, one of the things we do is we grab them to get to the ground so that we can do jiu-jitsu, because jiu-jitsu happens on the ground. So, following all the steps of the duck walk, we change levels, we shoot forward, and as soon as this knee touches the mat right in between her feet, I'm stepping forward. And now look, I'm in a good takedown position, and I would just lift her up, and now we're doing jiu-jitsu. So that is...
Want to do it that direction?
Sure. So you can watch from this direction. So I'm still gonna talk, hopefully you can hear me. I'm gonna change levels. I'm gonna shoot this knee right in between her feet, and as soon as my knee touches the mat, I'm stepping forward with this foot. Fun stuff. Then we learned a gorilla walk, and you guys already have a little bit of experience with the gorilla walk, and you did it great. And I just added one little detail today from what is traditionally understood as a gorilla walk, where you're going in the same direction with the same hip. What we did today is we turned our shoulders to be able to plant our fists on the mat, not like this, but like this. So if I'm facing you, instead of planting like this and dragging my feet across, I'm turning my shoulders and my fists, right? Or my hands, if I'm using my hands on the mat. Turning and then pulling myself forward this way. So I'm going left and then right. Watch, I'll do it away from you. And I'll do it back towards you. And then we learned a Granby roll, and to start with the Granby roll, we reiterated one of the things that we learned last week, which is our feet over our heads. Remember we did this? And we used our momentum to pull ourselves up? Well, this time I'm going to turn around so that my feet and face are facing you. This time we went to our left shoulder and our right shoulder. So we went over, and then slowly with your feet, walk over this shoulder, and then walk it to the middle, and walk it over to this shoulder. And that is the first step in a Granby roll, which makes it look like you're in a washing machine. So, Christy, I think you'd probably be better over here so they can see the angle. So I'm going to walk. No, you can hold it up.
Oh, I thought you meant you needed me. Okay.
So I'm going to talk you through the steps because this is kind of complicated. I'm going to tuck my hand behind my back. See where my hand is over here? And I'm going to roll over the back of my shoulder. And as soon as I get my shoulder to the mat, look, I'm starting in butterfly guard, okay? My butt is on the mat and I'm not going to my back this way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep my feet out here and I'm going to roll to the shoulder, and immediately I'm going to take my eyes, I'm going to tuck my chin, and I'm going to look at the ceiling, okay? I tuck my chin into my chest and I just take the easy route looking at the ceiling. I'm not craning my neck and going goofy this way. Chin to my chest, and I'm just looking up at the ceiling. Now look where my feet are. I'm just going to take my feet, and the same thing we just did, I'm going to walk them to the middle, and I'm going to walk them over to the left, and then I'm going to come right back up into butterfly guard.
Uncle Nick, we have a low battery warning, but I think we're good.
So this is what it looks like without stopping, okay? And the practical application, Auntie Christy, if you would help me out,
Yes, of course, Coach Uncle Nick.
is if I'm in a bad position over here, if she's past my guard and she's behind me, and I'm balled up here, this is a way that I can recover my guard, is by rolling up onto this shoulder and getting my guard back.
Oh no!
So in this position, she really has the advantage and can really do a lot of damage if I can't defend myself well and improve my position. So learning how to roll up over the shoulder is a really important and fairly successful way to regain my position. So I want to get my legs back in between us because that's my best defense is my legs. And I do it by getting up onto the shoulder. It's the same movement. It's the same movement as this. I hope you can see that. So that's it for today. Some complicated stuff, and I know it's going to take some practice, and I know that this stuff doesn't come easy first try, but it's just like anything that you try new. Nobody can swim the first time they get in the water, and nobody can play piano the first time they sit down at a bench. It's hard. Everything that you want to do is that you don't know how to do is going to be hard, and this is just another one of those cool things that teaches us that through practice and being eager, we can learn anything. There isn't anything that we can't learn if we're willing to just practice and practice and practice. When we did those duck walks, the 10th one was way easier than the first one. So imagine if you did that every day for 10 days, that's 100. How much better are you going to be with the 100th one than you were on the first one? So I hope you're getting as much out of these lessons as I am. I love you guys, and I look forward to seeing you next time.